Good morning, sir. Is your true name Jeremiah Russell Woody?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Your Honor.
Good morning. This is a time set for an initial appearance.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hold on just a second. Bear with me. All right. You have been arrested on a failure to appear out of Tucson City Court for a paraphernalia charge from earlier this year in October. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you in some instances. I also see, Mr. Woody, that you apparently are being held on a different bond. So on this case, you need to promise to get to court. You missed your court from earlier this year. So I'm going to allow you to be released on this, on your promise to appear. Your next court date is December 11th at 2 p.m. in front of Judge Mayhew, Tucson City Court. You are to not possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs. You understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today.
Okay. Oh. All right.
Morning, sir. Is your name Michael David Dapper?
Yes, ma'am.
Right, you've been, this time for your initial appearance, you've been arrested on a charge of robbery. You're also here on multiple city court matters where you have been arrested, and we need to set your conditions of release in those cases as well. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Oops, I will go ahead, I spilled my water, and appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you in the felony matter. It's okay. The state is recommending a $25,000 bond in this case. Who's here for the state? Mark?
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Anything else to add?
Just the facts as alleged in the interim complaint are particularly concerning. That plus his criminal history involving similar conduct warrants the bond that we're asking for. Thank you.
Thank you. And Megan, did you have anything to add?
Your Honor, I would just ask that the court consider Mr. Dapper's ability to pay when determining the bond amount. He is unemployed, so $2,500 would be well out of his reach for a bond.
Thank you. So, Mr. Dapper, based on the pretrial services assessment of your risk to commit new criminal activity and failures to appear in the future and the incident allegations of the violent incident here, I am going to order that you be held on $5,500 cash or secured bond, pretrial services supervision. If you post that, you are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. You're to be monitored by pretrial services, and you are not to return to the incident location. Your next court date is November 25th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court for a preliminary hearing. Regarding the multiple misdemeanor cases, sir, we have some new charges of assault, criminal trespass, theft, disorderly conduct, theft, assault, possessing liquor in open, criminal deface, disorderly conduct, multiple different occasions. So based on that, and your also failure to appear in one of the cases, I am going to be ordering that you're held on $1,000 cash bond. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, no contact with any alleged victim in those cases. Do not go to any of the alleged incident locations, and the city public defender is appointed to represent you. Your next court date is November 22nd at 1:45 PM in front of Judge Maldonado, Tucson City Court. Do you understand?
Yeah.
All right, that is all for today. Oh, sorry, it's discombobulated today. Can't believe this. All right. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Randall Jesse Estavillo? Oh. Jail, did we go out of order here? Oh, sorry. I skipped one. My bad. All right, let's start. Sir, is your, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is Mr. Van's story, Your Honor. I believe Mr. Estevio refused.
Okay. All right.
So the jail's asking for a continuance for Mr. Estevio.
Okay. And then, let's see, did we also skip?
Ms. Weisner, I believe the information I've been given is that she is having some type of mental health crisis and is not available to be brought down. So I guess we'd ask to continue her to the evening as well.
All right, so let me just, I'll be right with you, Mr. Van Spurry. I'm going to take care of these other cases. Ms. Weisner will be continued to the initial appearance PM session. And then Mr. Estevio will be continued to the initial appearance PM session.
Looking forward to, right? Yeah. And Mr. Kroll, who is next, also refused. And so we are asking to continue him to the PM session as well.
Okay. And then
Thank you, Your Honor.
Sure. Mr. Eric Kroll, who has several matters. Let me just get organized here. Let's see. Okay, so here's Miss Weisner. And then we've got Mr. Estevio.
We're trying to get this resolved because this is what we want done.
And here's Mr. Estevio.
And get this to it.
Here's Mr. Kroll.
Taking it to here, so I'm never. So I'm here just
Megan, the mic's still on over there.
Oh,
And it's,
thank
even
you.
though you're whispering, it's a pretty good mic. Let me just tell you that.
Kroll had a bunch of cases. Okay, sorry about that, sir. Thank you for your patience. Sir, is your true name Thomas James Van Story?
Yes, it is.
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. It's actually a review hearing. You're being held on a bond. There's a warrant. It's a $1,500 bond. There's a warrant out of Maricopa County Superior Court for a sales charge. So what we do is we continue to review your case here until your local charges are resolved, and then Maricopa County can come and serve their warrant on you. So at this point in time, your bond remains. Your next review hearing is December 16th at 9 a.m. Do you understand? All right, that's all for today. Thank you.
Your Honor, this is the Spanish interpreter. I don't show any Spanish speakers on the list today. May
Okay.
the interpreter be excused?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you. Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Interpreter is disconnected.
Okay. Morning, sir. Is your true name Coleman Younger James?
No.
Oh.
It's
What's your name?
David Archie.
Okay, for the jail, did we skip over Mr. James?
They're getting them right now, Your Honor.
Okay.
He's in a cell.
Okay, we're gonna skip over to Mr. Hmm. All right, sir, is your true name David Archie?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct. You're also here, let's see here. That was it. All right, so you do have the right to remain silent, sir. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney in some instances. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Here. So, Mr. Archie, I will allow you the opportunity to be released on your promise to appear. The victim in this case does not wish further contact with you. I'm not going to allow you contact with that person or their residence or workplace. You may return one time with a police escort, though, to retrieve any items that you have in that house. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons. And your next court date is going to be December 9th at 9 a.m. in front of Judge Verena. That's Tucson City Court for an arraignment. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Is this Mr. James? Good morning, sir. Is your true name Coleman Younger James?
Yes, it is.
For an initial appearance. You've been arrested on a failure to appear warrant out of South Tucson Municipal Court for theft and shoplifting. You've also been arrested on a failure to appear warrant for possession of prescription drugs and paraphernalia out of Tucson City Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So, sir, based on the age of these cases, I am going to order that you're held on $500 cash bond. Your attorney in the South Tucson City Court case is Michael Vaughn. We're going to give you his contact information so that you can contact him. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not return to the incident location. And in the city court matter, $500 cash bond. Your next court date is November 22nd at 1:45 p.m. Actually, let me give you your court date for the other case. I think I did. Your next court date is November 15th at 10 a.m. in for the South Tucson City Court matter. And the city court matter here in Tucson is November 22nd. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Your attorney is going to be the city public defender in that case. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today.
I don't know, what was he using for, but 45? Cross.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Dante Trey Cross?
Yes.
All right, good morning. Give me just a minute here. All right. Mr. Cross, this is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of domestic violence, criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you in some instances. All right. So, Mr. Cross, based on your lack of criminal history, I'm going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear. You have several conditions of release that you have to comply with. One of them is you can't possess or consume alcohol or illegal drugs. You cannot commit any acts of domestic violence. You cannot possess any firearms or weapons. Your next court date is December 17th at 1:30 p.m. for an arraignment in front of Judge Millian, Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. At this point in time, your partner Kiki is indicating that you can return home and that she wants contact with you. Oh, and apparently she's on the line. Does she want to speak? Okay, and she wants to make a statement. If at any point in the future during this case she does not wish contact, you have to abide by that. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, and Ms. Wan, do you wish to make a statement to the court?
Not at the moment. I was just here to be on the call.
Okay, all right, thank you, ma'am. All right, Mr. Cross, that's all for today. That's okay. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Michael Herrera?
Yes, ma'am.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of domestic violence, disorderly conduct, and criminal damage. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. In some instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So, sir, based on your lack of criminal history, I am going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear, but there's several conditions that you must follow. No alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons. At this point in time, your girlfriend Jasmine is not objecting to your release or for you to return to your shared residence or to have contact with you. If at any point in the case she does not wish that contact, you have to abide by that. Your next court date is going to be in front of Judge Millian. That's going to be December 17th at 1:30 p.m. In Tucson City Court. If you fail to appear, a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today.
Thank you.
You.
Your Honor, Laguna Dominic is at the hospital.
Okay, so let's see here. We will continue Mr. Laguna to the PM session. Thank you. Good morning, sir. Is your true name? Sorry, I can't see. Hiram Mong?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Sir. Yes.
There's a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of domestic violence, failure to comply with a court order. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. In some instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. All right, give me just a minute, Mr. Mong. All right, so Mr. Mong, apparently you have a no contact order with the alleged victim in this case that you do need to comply with. So that's what this charge is all about. So I am going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear. You do have a next court date It's going to be December 17th at 1:30 PM in front of Judge Millian, Tucson City Court for an arraignment. You are not allowed to have any contact with the victim or the victim's residence or workplace. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, and possess no firearms or weapons. So no contact means no contact. Do you understand that?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that is all for today.
Thank you.
You.
Have a good day. Dante. Still.
All right. All right, so for the jail, we don't have a name here.
No, Your Honor.
Sir, can you tell me your true name and date of birth?
I'd rather not, ma'am.
Is there a reason why you don't want to tell me your name?
I just do. I haven't done anything wrong, ma'am.
Well, this is a time step for your initial appearance, sir. You have been arrested on charges of trespassing, obstruction, refusing to give your name, which is a crime, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you have the right to remain silent? Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to order that you be held on $250 cash bond. Your next court date is November 22nd at 1:45 PM. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do not go to the incident location. Your attorney is the city public defender. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today.
Ma'am, may I say something?
You have an attorney there. I would advise you to talk to her first, okay?
It's all right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for today, sir.
If I could go through that.
I know, but she's gonna tell you to stop.
All right, good morning, sir. Is your true name Ronald Gerard Bacher? I'm sorry.
Ruben Bacher.
Bacher. Here. This is the time step for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of domestic violence, threats, disorderly conduct, and assault. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you in some instances. So Mr. Rubenacher, I am going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear based on your lack of criminal history here. There's several conditions of release that you're going to have to abide by. Your next court date is December 17th for an arraignment at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Millian in Tucson City Court. You do have to appear or a warrant could issue for your arrest. You are to possess or consume no alcohol, no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. At this point in time, they were unable to get in touch with your spouse to get her input regarding this incident. So at this point in time, you are allowed to return home and have contact with her, but if she indicates that she does not wish to have contact, then you may not have contact. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you.
Do I here to get a
That's not valid stuff. See.
city?
Yep. Just
That was rude, and I did not mean to, but just for I should. I think when it comes to judges, listen, stick to the. You say you're right. Carter, I gotta get this out. Carter. Thanks again. Go down the center. Hey.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Devin Carter?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on several charges here. There's a petition to revoke in your city court case, and also that you have failed to appear. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Sir, I am going to appoint the city public defender again to represent you. I am going to order that you be held on $1,000 cash bond. You are not to possess or consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim or the alleged victim's residence or workplace. Your next court date is November 27th at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Millian, Tucson City Court. They will also address the petition to revoke your probation. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today, Mr. Carter. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. So,
Oh, here's Espadillo and Kroll. Oh, wait, shoot. I got a bunch for Kroll. Go. Thank you. Okay, thank you. Good morning, sir. Is your name Tyler Marine?
Yes.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of promoting prison contraband and possession of a dangerous drug. And you're also here for failing to appear for an arraignment in a narcotic and dangerous drug and criminal damage and paraphernalia case from earlier this year, where you are alleged to have failed to appear for your arraignment and a warrant was issued. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I will appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you in these cases. The state is recommending a bond in lieu of a no bond, which they can request no bond per Article 2 of the Constitution of Arizona because you are on release for a felony case and alleged to have committed another felony case. Megan, did you have a recommendation?
No, Your Honor, we would support a bond in lieu of no bond.
All right, so Mr. Marine, in lieu of a no bond hearing, I'm gonna set a $2,500 cash or secured bond. Pretrial services supervision, if you post that. No alcohol or illegal drugs, monitoring by pretrial services. Your next court date is your arraignment, November 21st at 1:30 p.m. And that is Pima County Superior Court. If you fail to appear, a warrant will issue for your arrest at that time. And then that'll be in both cases. In your new case, your next court date is a preliminary hearing, November 25th at 1:30 p.m. Stay in touch with your attorney because that hearing may not happen exactly on that date. You understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today.
It's not the not making. And not making it's gonna this again. It. Alright, guys. Stand up and the organization.
It goes down. Okay.
Morning, sir. Here's your name, David Michael Brooks.
Yes.
Time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on felony charges of interfering with a monitoring device and kidnap. We're also here on several cases out of Tucson City Court. Harassment, domestic violence, interfering with the judicial proceeding, domestic violence. And you also have a petition to revoke in those cases as well. You do have a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney in your felony case. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. The state is recommending a $20,000 bond in the felony case. Counsel, did you have a recommendation?
Your Honor, I would just note for the court that from the interim complaint, it's clear that Mr. Brooks does have housing apart from the alleged victim in this case. I would also point out to the court that the city court or the misdemeanor matters involve different victims for pretrial services. And I would ask the court to consider his inability to pay per pretrial. He is unemployed. So I would ask for a bond that's much lower than $20,000.
So, Mr. Brooks, these allegations are very concerning. Based on that and your criminal history, I am going to order that you be held on $10,000 cash or secured bond. If you post that, pretrial services monitoring, no alcohol or illegal drugs, no acts of domestic violence, no firearms or weapons, no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim or the incident location here. Your next court date is November 25th at 1:30 p.m. Pima County Superior Court. That hearing may not occur on that date, so stay in touch with your public defender.
And Your Honor, did you appoint the public defender's office? Okay, thank you.
And then in the city court cases, sir, based on your failure to appear and the nature of these offenses, I am going to order that you're held on $1,000 cash bond. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons, no contact with the alleged victim in that case, or their residence or workplace. The city PD is reappointed to represent you. You do have a probation violation hearing. That's going to be November 27th at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Million. You do need to appear if you bond out. Do you understand, sir?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today. Is it? Okay, because I have to, she's here. Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Estelle Hera?
Yes.
This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of aggravated driving under the influence while license is revoked and aggravated third DUI in 72 months. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You do have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I will appoint the public defender's office to represent you in this matter. The state is recommending that you be held on a bond. Counsel, do you have a recommendation?
Your Honor, Ms. Cara has 2 children who live with her. They are 2 years old and 9 months old, which are obviously ages where it would be very traumatic to be separated from their mother. So I would ask that you consider releasing her to the supervision of pretrial services.
Mark, is there anything else you want to say?
Not particularly, Your Honor. We just would note the information in the interim complaint is the crux of our concerns, that plus a prior DUI.
So Ms. Parra, these allegations are very concerning. It seems to me that you got a serious alcohol problem that you need to address. And you keep getting behind the wheel of a car. So out of concern for the community, I am going to order that you be held on $5,500 cash or secured bond. If you post that bond, you are to not drive, obviously, without a valid license, no alcohol or illegal drugs, and do not drink and drive. Your next court date is November 25th at 1:30 p.m. That is a preliminary hearing at Pima County Justice Court. If you bond out, stay in touch with the public defender because that hearing may not happen exactly on that date. You understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today. I think it's under the law. Under
Christensen.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Jeremy Christensen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. Been arrested on charges of possession of a dangerous drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. You're also here on a justice court case, failure to appear regarding a shoplifting.
Yeah.
That is from earlier this year. You do have
Yes,
the
ma'am.
right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. In some instances, if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So, sir, the county attorney is moving to dismiss your new felony charges without prejudice. So I am going to order that you be released on those charges. They do have the right to refile the charges or file the charges within 7 years. So keep your address updated with the United States Postal Service in the event that happens. Otherwise, you do not have any obligations regarding that case. Regarding your city court case, your justice court case, you need to do a whole lot better job of appearing regarding that.
You got it.
You're talking about
Yeah, no problem.
August of this year. So this is your notice of your court date. I'm going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear.
You got it.
Do not return to the incident location. No alcohol or illegal drugs. Your next court date is December 16th at 8:30 a.m. And that's in Pima County Justice Court in front of Judge Foster. So you need to appear or a warrant could issue for your arrest. Do you understand?
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
one of those days. Morning, sir. Is your true name Cole James Clarkson?
Yes.
In concept for an initial appearance, been arrested on a charge of aggravated domestic violence. You do have the right to remain silent, be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I am going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The state is recommending that you be held on a bond. Counsel, do you have recommendations?
Your Honor, I would ask to be heard about probable cause in this case. The interim complaint lists some dates of arrests for domestic violence, but no specific information about what occurred in those matters, and he was not apparently convicted for pretrial services. So while I understand the aggravated DV can be committing acts of domestic violence within 84 months, without any specific information about what actually happened in those underlying matters, I would argue to the court that there's not probable cause to arrest him for aggravated domestic violence at this time. So I would ask that the court consider dismissing. As to release conditions, he does live alone, can live with mom, which was verified by pretrial services. So I would ask that the court consider releasing him to live with his mother.
Mr. Hotchkiss, did you want to make any statement regarding probable cause?
I see what Ms. Page is referencing, and I do see it being a little bit skimpy, a lot of it skimpy on details. But given the sheer number of incidents where he's alleged to at least be a contact, if not arrested, and given that the burden before the court, before the court today is whether or not there's probable cause, the fact that he was previously arrested 3 times within the 7 years, for today's sake, at a probable cause standard should suffice for what the court needs to have from an evidentiary standpoint. That's all I have.
All right, so for today's sake, I will find probable cause. It's going to be up to the state and counsel to figure that out later, whether that proceeds. I am going to release the defendant on his promise to appear. Sir, your next court date is December 4th at 1:30 p.m. Pima County Justice Court. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. You are to have no contact whatsoever with the alleged victim or that person's residence or workplace. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today.
You know what time? Thank you.
Eggman.
Good morning, ma'am. Is your name Kayla Eggman?
Yes.
Time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on charges of theft of a credit card, computer tampering, and possession of drug paraphernalia. Do you have the right to remain silent? Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you in this matter. The state is recommending your release in this case. So Ms. Eggman, based on your lack of criminal history, I'm going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear. Your next court date is December 4th at 1:30 p.m. You are to have no contact of any kind with the alleged victim in this case, no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand?
I do.
All right, that's all for today.
Thank you.
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Jaron Fisher Fenrich?
Yeah, Jerron.
Ron Fisher Fenrich. This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges out of Tucson City Court for obstruction and disorderly conduct. You also have, you're here for a review hearing for a warrant out of Maricopa County for possession of a narcotic drug. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So Mr. Fisher Fenrich, I am going to order that you be held on $5,500 cash or secured bond for the warrant out of Maricopa. Your next review hearing is December 16th at 9 a.m. What we do is review your case until your local charges are resolved. And then Maricopa County can execute that warrant and take custody of you. In the city court matter, I'm going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. City public defender is appointed to represent you. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, possess no firearms or weapons, do not go to the incident location. Do you understand? Your next court date there is next week, November 22nd at 1:45 p.m. And that's in front of Judge Hale, Tucson City Court. All right, that is all for today. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Michael Gagos?
Yes.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of promoting prison contraband, possession of a dangerous drug, and you also have several other cases, one of which is a warrant out of Maricopa County. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. So Mr. Gagos, I am going to appoint, let's see here. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you regarding the new charges, which we'll talk about in a minute. But regarding the warrant out of Maricopa County, I am going to order that you're held on $10,000 cash or secured bond in that case. Your next court date here is December 16th at 9 a.m. We're going to continue to review your case, local case here, until it's resolved and Maricopa County can execute that warrant and take custody of it. $10,000 cash or secured. And then you also have a warrant, let's see here, a failure to appear out of West Mesa Justice Court for a disorderly conduct case. I'm going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond because of the age of the case. Your next court date is November 22nd at 9 a.m. And that's in West Justice Court of Mesa. And then we have your new charges here. The state is recommending release, pretrial services. Counsel, did you want to?
Well, at this point, Your Honor, I think I would ask that he be held on a nominal bond in the case here so that he's getting credit since he's remaining in custody on the Maricopa warrant and the West Mesa Justice Court case.
All right, so that you get credit in this case, I'm going to order that you be held on $2,500 cash and secured bond. Your next court date is November 25th at 1:30 p.m. That's a preliminary hearing at Pima County Justice Court. Do you understand?
Sure.
All right, that's all for today. Good morning, sir. Your name is Kevin James Puma.
Yes.
The time set for an initial appearance. Been arrested on charges of possession of a dangerous drug and paraphernalia. You're also here on a failure to appear in a city court case from last year. You're also here on a failure to appear on a shoplifting case out of Pima County Justice Court. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I will also note, sir, that you have a warrant out of Sierra Vista Justice Court. These are all stemming from cases that are alleged to have happened last year. In your new case, the state is moving to dismiss without prejudice the drug possession case, sir. So I am going to dismiss that case without prejudice. You're not going to be held on that. You do need to keep your address updated with the U.S. Postal Service because the state does have the right, have 7 years in which to file charges on that case.
Okay.
In your other cases, sir, based on the age of the case, I'm going to order that you're held on $500 cash bond. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. Your attorney is the city public defender. Your next court date for the city court case is November 22nd at 1:45 p.m. And that's Tucson City Court in front of Judge Mayhew. And $500 cash bond in the Pima County Justice Court case. Your next court date is November 15th at 1 p.m. in front of Judge Roberts. You are to possess or consume no alcohol. Do not return to the incident location. That's for the shoplift. And that would be for your arraignment, November 15th. Bond out, you need to appear or a warrant could issue for your arrest for all these again. And then in the other shoplifting case, same court date, November 15th, and same amount of bond. And let's see here. I do need to appoint you counsel, and that will be Doug Taylor. And we're going to give you his information on the paperwork that you take with you today. Do you understand, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today.
Those are your questions and your attorneys.
Okay, thank you. How's that?
Morning, sir. Is your name Christopher Stephen Kozak?
Yes.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. Just a minute here, you've been arrested. You've been arrested on charges of possession of a dangerous drug and possession of drug paraphernalia. You're also here on several justice court cases and city court cases where you've failed to appear. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. Let's see here. So all right, so Mr. Kozak, the Pima County Public Defender's Office is going to represent you in the case where you failed to appear from earlier this year for a possession of a dangerous drug and narcotic drug. You failed to appear at your arraignment. The state is recommending $500 bond in that case. Discuss that in a minute. In your new case, the state is moving to dismiss without prejudice. So I will dismiss that without prejudice. You do not have any further obligations in that case, and you will be released on that. You need to keep your address updated with the U.S. Postal Service. State has 7 years to refile those charges. And then, counsel, did you have a recommendation regarding the older case where he missed the arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor, I would ask that you consider releasing him based on the nature of the charges. And pretrial noted that the summons or the supervening indictment was mailed to general delivery. So it's most likely he never received a copy of that and was aware of the court date.
Okay, so Mr. Kozak, I am going to allow you to be released to pretrial services. You're getting notice of your arraignment right now. It's the 21st at 1:30 p.m. You're going to be monitored by pretrial and no alcohol or illegal drugs. Do you understand? All right, and then in the trespass and paraphernalia charges out of city court from last year, this is gonna be your notice to get to court. You need to do a lot better job. I'll allow you to be released. The court date is December 16th at 2:30 PM. You are to possess no alcohol or illegal drugs and do not go to the incident location of the trespass. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right. That's all for today.
Landeros.
Good morning, ma'am. Is your true name Alexis Landeros?
Yeah.
This is a time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of possession of a narcotic drug, possession of dangerous drug. Just a minute here. Looks like you failed to appear for an arraignment that was earlier this year after you were released to pretrial services. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. State is recommending that you be held as per the warrant. Megan, did you have anything to add?
Your Honor, I would again ask the court to consider releasing her. It was a drug possession case and the notice of supervening indictment was mailed to general delivery.
Ms. Landeros, this is going to be your notice to get to court. From this point on, if you miss court, we're going to know that you had direct notice. So it's not going to, you may not get released in the future. So do you promise to appear at your arraignment?
Yes.
All right, November 21st at 1:30 PM. You have an attorney, the public defender, to help you. They're going to be there. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, and then you're going to have to check in with pretrial services. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's all for today.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, did you appoint the public defender?
Yes.
Thank you.
Morning, sir. Is your true name Colton Mcau?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of promoting prison contraband, possession of a narcotic drug. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I will appoint the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you. The state is recommending that you be held on a bond. Counsel?
Your Honor, I would note that, well, I would ask the court to consider releasing him. He does have verified housing with his grandfather, with which his mother verified, as well as verified employment.
Mr. Hotchkiss, is there anything you want to say regarding the bond recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor. So this is as to Mr. Mcau, right? I want to make sure I'm talking about the right person.
Correct.
Okay. So as to the overdose, the reason why we're asking for the $40,000 bond in the drug sale case is because that drug sale at least appears to be what led to the overdose death of the individual that bought that fentanyl. So that illustrates pretty clearly the concerns that come with selling these types of drugs to individuals in the community. And that was a sale that Mr. Mcau admitted to. As to the prison contraband case, I'm not sure if those came in separately. I'm assuming that they did because they were two different interims. We would move to dismiss the prison contraband case. However, as to the fentanyl sale resulting in overdose death, we do think that $40,000 bond is warranted. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Mcau, as to the prison contraband case, that I'm going to dismiss that without prejudice. The state is not proceeding on that. You'll be released. They do have 7 years within which to file charges, so keep your address updated. with the US Postal Service in case that happens. And regarding the sales charge, I am going to order that you be held based on the state's allegations and based on your criminal history. I'm going to order that you be held on $10,000 cash or secured bond. If you post it, no alcohol or illegal drugs. And your next court date is November 25th at 1:30 p.m. for a preliminary hearing in Pima County Justice Court. Do you understand?
Yes.
All right, that's it for today. Appreciated. Good morning, sir. Is your true name Aaron Dean Pauley?
Yes.
All right, this is the time set for an initial appearance. You have been arrested on charges of possession of a dangerous drug, possession of drug paraphernalia. And you're also here on a Tucson City Court case, disorderly conduct, domestic violence. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. I'm going to appoint the Pima County Legal Defender's Office to represent you regarding the felony case. The state is asking that you be held on a bond in lieu of no bond, having a no bond hearing based on the fact that you are alleged to be on release for a felony possession of a dangerous drug in a separate matter. And then counsel, did you have any argument regarding that?
No, you're not going to get more with it than no bond hold.
All right, so in that matter, sir, I'm going to order that you be held on $5,500 cash or secured bond, pretrial services if posted, supervision if posted. Your next court date is going to be a smart court hearing, November 21st at 9 a.m. If you bond out, sir, you need to appear at that hearing. You may be offered a diversion. Your next court.
Yeah, and I don't have very much money and
Sir, I'm talking right now. You don't talk. I'm going to advise you to withhold any talking and talk to your attorney because it can be used against you. But let me finish what I'm telling you. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs. You're going to be monitored by pretrial services. You need to appear on the 21st. You'll be transported if you don't bond out, but you may be eligible for a diversion. You won't be transported if you're not eligible. Sir, this bond is in lieu of the state moving forward with the right to have a no bond hearing and that you be held without bond because you are on release for another felony. That's the allegation. So they're offering this bond in lieu of holding you without bond. That's what they're doing today. And then we need to talk about the disorderly conduct domestic violence case.
Oh.
In that case, I am going to order that you be held on $500 cash bond. Your next court date is November 20th at 1:30 p.m. in front of Judge Million, Tucson City Court for an arraignment. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, commit no acts of domestic violence, possess no firearms or weapons. Let me just a minute here. You are to have no contact with the alleged victim. Do not return to the victim's residence or workplace. Your attorney is the city public defender's office. If this is a place where you reside, you may return one time with a police escort to retrieve any items. Do you understand, sir?
yes,
That's all for today.
thank you.
Yes. Morning, sir. Is your true name Orson Smith Moraga?
Orson Smith Moraga.
The time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of discharging a firearm at a residence, aggravated assault, deadly weapon, dangerous instrument, discharging a firearm in the city limit. You're alleged to have failed to appear. Let's see here. No, the warrant was just issued. Sorry about that. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. The state is recommending that you be held on bond. First of all, let me appoint attorney Eric Manch of OCAC to represent you. The state is recommending that you be held on bond. Counsel, do you have a recommendation?
Your Honor, I would just ask that the court consider ability to pay. He has minimal employment. $150,000 would be well beyond his means. So I would ask the court impose something much lower than that.
All right, Mr. Hodgkins, is there any other thing you want to say?
Just, it's basically there in the text portion of our recommendation, but just given the gravity of what occurred and the sheer danger of opening fire towards not just this particular apartment unit, but a complex as a whole, the extreme danger involved here warrants that type of bond. We have a grandmother that was shot in the shoulder as a result of this, and other people that were put in grave danger. So for those reasons, we think the bond is warranted. Thank you.
So, Mr. Smith Moraga, I do agree based on state statements there regarding allegations of shooting into an apartment complex and actually hitting some innocent bystanders. So I am going to order that you be held on $150,000 cash or secured bond, free trial, supervision if posted. You are to possess or consume no alcohol or illegal drugs, no firearms or weapons, surrender any firearms. You're gonna be monitored by pretrial services, no contact with the alleged victims. Do not go to the incident location. Next court date is November 25th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court for a preliminary hearing. You also have a case management hearing December 9th in Pima County Superior Court, and that is for another case of narcotic and dangerous drug sales. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all for today.
Do you?
Good morning, sir. Is your true name Jesus Trujillo?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is the time set for an initial appearance. You've been arrested on charges of unlawful failure to return rented property. You do have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you. You have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you. And there's nobody. Marty, who's the attorney? All right. I'd like the Pima County Public Defender's Office to represent you, sir. State is recommending release. I agree with that recommendation, sir, based on your minimal criminal history and the nature of the offense. So I'm going to allow you to be released on your promise to appear. Your next court date is December 4th at 1:30 p.m. in Pima County Justice Court. Stay in touch with the Public Defender's Office. That hearing may not happen on that day, so you're going to want to know when to go to court. No contact with the alleged victim in this case. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, that's all for today. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. That's it for today.
Thank you, Your Honors.
Have a good day. So many pieces of paperwork. you.